let's look at these Jedi in the what is clearly the halls of the Jedi Temple. I'd know it anywhere. This is very likely a flashback of Baby Yoda going back to Order 66. And Jim, you were saying, hey, it's time to, let's open up the mystery box. Let's get to the meat of what's the backstory of Baby Yoda. Maybe this is a sign that they're going to do just that.
That's exactly what I mean. And there's two ways of looking at this sequence. You can see it as a moment where we're finally going to fully get the Baby Yoda story fleshed out, where we learn how he escaped the Jedi Temple and what happened in that 50 years of downtime when he was being hidden from the Empire, clearly, and the Inquisitors and what have you. And then there's another direction that a lot of fans have been talking about, is that maybe this is the moment when the Darksaber is taken from the Jedi Temple and returned to the Mandalorian people. Now, that's part of Star Wars lore that goes back to the Star Wars Rebels, where the story of Tar Vizsla was explained and how he was a Mandalorian Jedi who died in service and his saber was stored in the Jedi Temple. The Jedi and the Mandalorian had a conflict, maybe over the Darksaber itself. And somehow the Darksaber was returned to the Mandalorians. And then it ended up in the possession of Pre Vizsla, and then Darth Maul, Bo-Katan, Moff Gideon, and Din Djarin. That's the succession of the Darksaber as we know it. As we know it. But so a lot of people are talking. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way because that's like ancient times, like thousands of years before the Mandalorian. And what we're looking at here looks like a set right out of the prequel era.
Yep.
With Jedi right out of the prequel era. So I think this is an Order 66 situation and the evacuation of Baby Yoda from the Jedi.
Now, here's a question. Could this be, we were talking about Hayden Christensen, could this be a Hayden cameo? Hayden's been around. He's been in front of cameras for recent projects. Might we get a little Hayden back as, I guess we shouldn't call him Anakin, Darth Vader at this point in his siege on the Jedi Temple?
Well, I guess that depends on who's on the other side of that doorway.
Right. I'm guessing it's Anakin in the 501st.
Yeah. It could be. It could be. Well, I mean, when they did the flashback in the Kenobi show, it was presented very similar to this.
Right.
And it was Anakin with clone troopers. So, why not? Why wouldn't it be any different than that show? So Anakin Skywalker had a busy day that day. That's all I got to say. He's coming across everyone.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Skywalker.
I want to put you on the spot real quick here.
Or what if Baby Yoda's in that room with the Master Skywalker? That kid.
That kind of leads to the question I just want to ask you. And all
right, put me on the spot.
I'm just going to throw out one name. If you had to throw out a guess as to who saved Baby Yoda, based on characters we know, and I'm assuming it has to be some sort of legacy character. It has to be some character of weight. If you had to put your money on it right now, who would have saved Baby Yoda?
This is the toughest question. And this is a question I should have probably been pondering a lot. And I really haven't been, This mystery box thing is a bunch of horse crap as far as I'm concerned. Tell me a linear story. But all right, so who saved flipping Baby Yoda? Well, who's around?
That's the question. Who's around?
Who's around? What if oddly it was Anakin Skywalker?
What
if he wipes everyone out and then he sees that Baby Yoda sitting there? He goes, wait a second, I might have some use for this thing. Yeah. And he freezes Baby Yoda in carbonite. And Baby Yoda stays frozen in carbonite until shortly before the events of the Mandalorian premiere episode.
Hence why he doesn't remember anything.
Hence why. So that's my wildest guess.
Okay, Anakin Skywalker.
He was taken into the custody of the Empire via Anakin.
He wasn't rescued after all. Maybe. The assumption is he was rescued.
Ahsoka does give us some background, doesn't she? And I think everything Ahsoka says in that episode from season 2 is to be taken on face value, 100% fact.
Yeah.
So she says that Grogu was what does she say?
I think she uses the term rescued.
Rescued?
I believe so.
Well, there's, rescued from a certain point of view.
Sure.
We could be getting into that.
There's ways to wiggle out of this. But you were talking about, who's left. Mace Windu is gone.
He's gone.
Ki-Adi Mundi, Ayla Secura, they're all gone. They were off-world at the time. Who was on-world? I've got a wild idea.
Yarel Poof.
Jocasta Nu.
Jocasta.
What if this was her? Because she's not a Jedi, I don't believe. Isn't that part of her backstory?
Yeah, no. She's a Jedi.
Oh, she is Jedi?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought she was kind of a normie that just worked there in the archives. No. Okay. Jocasta's a Jedi. I'm going with Jocasta Nu. That's my prediction. Jocasta Nu.
Well, I'd like to see some sort of foreshadowing into that. But it's impossible to.
No, yeah.
Because they've really provided us with very little insight. The only Jedi we've seen Grogu come into contact with are Ahsoka and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love the Anakin Skywalker tie-in. I would love to see surprise cameo from Hayden. Hayden is back in the stable.
Yeah.
We know he's going to be in the Ahsoka show.
Mm-hmm.
Could he make a surprise appearance in The Mandalorian in that flashback sequence? Well, take a look at the door, that blast door. I mean, does it look like a saber? Like a saber kind of melts the...
Yeah, this does not... To me, this does not look like a saber. This looks to me...
No, it doesn't.
Like these are blaster... Well...
Or some sort of explosive, like what the stormtroopers used at the very beginning of A New Hope, when the stormtroopers raid they capture and then raid the Corellian Corvette, the rebel blockade runner. Remember that blast door at the end of the hallway? The blast door at the end of the hallway, it all like sort of sparked and sizzled on the border.
It did.
Much like this is happening with this door.
This is no saber blade cutting through the metal.
No, because like the saber blade kind of melts it a little and makes it red hot, like Qui-Gon's did. This is more like trooper technology here at play. These are troopers coming through the door. Maybe there is an Anakin Skywalker with those troopers, but I'm saying just troopers.
Yeah, I would imagine that Anakin likes to make an entrance, and so if he was there, it's likely he would have used that old saber through the door trick.
Yeah.
For the drama. He likes the drama.
Drama's huge.
So these just could be and one of these Jedi, I mean, it doesn't have to be a legacy character. I just thought, if anyone is going to rescue Baby Yoda, it would be someone that we're already somewhat familiar with. But as, we were pointing out, Jim, I mean, there's not many left. I mean, most of them were off-world during the final battles of the Clone War. And, anybody left at the temple, pretty obscure characters.
Yeah. Now, I have some information here from episode 13 of The Mandalorian. Ahsoka feeling She's not reading Grogu's thoughts. She's feeling his thoughts. Okay.
All right.
That always puzzled me about the usage of the Force in general. You know, reach out with your feelings. What the hell does that really mean? That's happy.
That's why you're not a Jedi.
I don't know how to do that. I'm angry. Okay, so Ahsoka says that Grogu was raised on the Jedi Temple on Coruscant.
Right.
Many masters trained him over the years. Many masters have trained him over the years. At the end of the Clone Wars, when the Empire rose to power, says Ahsoka to Din Djarin, he was hidden. But it doesn't say by who. Ahsoka doesn't
hidden, not rescued.
Ahsoka says someone took him from the temple. Someone took him from the temple. Then his memory becomes dark. So that's all that Ahsoka can really suck. He seemed lost. That's all she could like suck out of his memories. That he felt lost, alone. Everything went dark. I think Baby Yoda was frozen in carbonite.
Man, I think,
and it's not explicit.
I think you're just crazy enough to be right.
Say what?
I said I think you're crazy. That's a crazy enough idea to be right.
Reading between the lines, and it just says someone took him from the temple. So I think that leaves it wide open that he could have been taken by the Empire, frozen in carbonite.
Right. I got to go get something. Hold on 1 second. Keep talking.
Frozen in carbonite, then somehow forgotten and auctioned off in like one of those storage war when you rent the place to store your crap at the you get those storage bins and those storage lockers. You don't pay for the monthly dues. And after a certain amount of time goes by, it gets auctioned off. So people stand outside your storage locker and an auctioneer sells off everything in the locker to people who have no idea what's in there. So the Empire was obviously overdue with payments on their storage locker, and all the contents were sold on the Storage War shows. Now, Jason is showing me a little carbonite.
This is a fridge magnet.
It's a fridge of Baby Yoda frozen in carbonite. Jason just ran upstairs to his kitchen to
grab this.
He's
like
all
Baby
out of
Yoda in carbonite.
So I keep talking.
I think I've heard this before. I've seen this before. It was a vision. No, it's a fridge magnet, but still cool. Baby Yoda in carbonite.
But what could explain the whole situation with him not remembering? And also he had been trained by many masters.
Right.
So when we see Luke training Baby Yoda, that is certainly not his first training session. And
why many masters? I mean, because he's 50 years old.
Well, that was life in the Jedi Temple.
Well, right. And he was, unlike the other younglings that aged at a more human rate, he's aging so slowly. He's 50 years old and still a baby. So I'm sure. think of how many teachers retire at a school over the course of 25, 30 years, however long it was. So, yeah. So it's probably whatever it is you call Yoda's species, it's probably a challenging life when you're surrounded by people and beings that don't live anywhere near as long as you do. Be kind of wild, kind of lonely.
Challenging life.
Yeah.
I struggle existing around my own children, and they're only a generation removed from me or whatever. So, yeah, challenging life. Could you imagine being 900 years old and dealing with Generation Z? Oh. Are you crazy?
Wow.
But that's Yoda, So
right.
Hold this freeze frame.
Yes.
Jason, I got to pee.
Oh. All right.
I'm going to go take a leak. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, if I get to take a break, then Jimmy Mack gets to take a break. But no, I do think that it very well could be one of those things where we're hoping and believing that it's going to be a character that we all know and love and are familiar with. It's going to take Baby Yoda. I guess we can't say rescue because as Ahsoka reveals to Luke or to Mando that he was hidden, not rescued. Hidden is a very, very different thing. Sure, the process of hiding him may have rescued him, but was that the intent of the person that is doing the hiding? So it does, open the possibilities of an Anakin Skywalker. Oh yeah, like Jimmy said, this could come in handy. I might have use for this. And I don't know if it was carbonite. That's kind of fun to think about if it was carbonite, but if it wasn't, what was it? It was some way to sort of hold him there. But we also know that Baby Yoda is powerful. And, you would need to have something to sort of keep his power at bay. So whether it would be, carbonite or stuck in that pram, like when Mando found him, he was stuck in that pram. So there's got to be a reason why they chose the word hide versus rescue. Jim, I was saying that, the process of hiding Baby Yoda might have, in a sense, rescued him, but that doesn't matter if that wasn't the intent of the hider. So whoever hit him, may have not had the most pure motives, so it very well could have been an Anakin Skywalker who thought, hey, I've got use for this thing down the line.
To expand on my, absolutely, and to build off of that, and to expand on the things I was saying, as far as my speculation for season 3, I believe that the Empire has Baby Yoda frozen in carbonite, and they have him in a storage locker. They forgot to make payments on the locker, so he got auctioned off, and he was bought by a bunch of Trandoshans, and along with Indiana Jones' whip, frozen carbonite, and the Sakura stones from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and some Jedi and Sith holocrons, and a Jedi Temple mask. All this stuff was in the storage locker that got auctioned off to the public.
No, where where that storage locker went? If you look closely, the back of Luthen's shop, you're going to see a gray case.
Right.
Baby Yoda spent most of that time in Luthen's antique shop, frozen in carbonite.
But we have 3 or 4 Tony Gilroy interviews telling us it doesn't matter because it's just what the props department was doing. Like every man for himself on this production.
Yeah, I'd like to say that it was designed, but no, it just went through the archives and just grabbed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was Gilroy.